Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I'm going to announce that I will be doing live on Baba Baby Ariel Instagram. Okay, so at 12 p.m. Los Angeles time, in about 2 hours from now, I'm going to be going live. So I'm inviting all of you guys to join us on Baba Baby Ariel Instagram. I'm going to be covering two subjects. One, we need to understand that our kids who are born from year 2000, they have totally a different DNA. Okay, so let me put it this way. If we wanted to improve human being, right? So let's say for my generation, 50 and over, we came with a different DNA. And then after year 2000, new kids are coming up with much more advanced DNA. That means they are a lot more intelligent. They're four planes of existence, as I call it, like spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. Let's picture that and see that the kids who are born from year 2000 till now, 2020, are a lot more advanced. So if we look at the four planes, for instance, we don't have to teach these kids how to be spiritual. That's in their DNA. They're coming from a higher plane. We call them light workers. Or in a way, we can say they are empath, meaning spiritually they are connected, right? Mentally, they are much sharper, smarter. They coming with a higher intelligence. Emotionally, when I say someone is an empath, what do I mean by that? I mean that they are emotionally picking up and observing everything, right? So basically, these new kids, these new generations are picking up everything. So I'm going to give you an example to make myself more clear. Let's say in my generation, when I was a kid, if my parents were arguing and fighting in front of me, I would have, my brain or my mind would translate that as some trauma or some bad events, right? And then later on, 2 minutes later, if my mom would hand me out a lollipop, I would have totally forget about that events or that trauma. But that's very different for kids these days, because the kids these days, it doesn't matter if you're arguing in a different room with your husband, if there is some chaos is going on, and the kids could be even asleep. But because they are emotionally picking up everything through their environment, these kids basically are picking up the argument. They're picking up your feeling, the way you feel, okay? So when it comes to their physical, they're much more advanced too, okay? So basically, today live we're going to do at 11 a.m. Los Angeles time, we're going to be doing a Farsi live, and then 12 p.m. we're going to be doing an English live, right? So I'm going to be covering out that as parents, and I'm inviting all of you guys who are parents, mom and dad, to join us on this live. And is going to be very, very helpful to you guys, to your parents, to know how to deal with this new generation, with these new creatures. So basically, this is the topic that's going to be very interesting, and for you moms to understand. If you are dealing with some creatures who are coming from a much, much more advanced DNA, what does that mean? That means that you don't have to teach them anything. They are the teachers. You know, for the past 20 years in my teaching, I'm trying to tell you guys, you don't have to look out there for a guru. The guru is within you. Okay? So if you cut out all the distractions totally, the Instagram, the Telegram, the TV, the radio, blah, blah, blah. If you disconnect everything and be in the present moment, which has been our challenge for last week, and we're going to continue on this for the next 2 weeks, it's about cutting out the distractions and be fully present in this moment, right? So imagine that your newborn kids are already coming. This is inserted in their DNA, in their brain, right? So basically, you cannot teach these kids anymore because they already know, right? The only thing that you need to know as a parent is not to destroy or damage this amazing software. And what I mean by that, which we're going to be talking in this live, basically is that don't get your kids too engaged and entertain them. What I mean by that, to be more specific, is don't turn on a TV for kids. Don't expose them to an iPhone. You and I know that the new iPhones 5Gs are not good for us. So you don't want to expose your newborn children with an iPhone, right? You don't want to constantly have some noise around them because these kids are extremely sensitive. And if you guys continue doing this constant noise around them, what happens is eventually you get them addicted. They become addicted to be entertained. And that's exactly what you don't want to do with your children, right? So you should give them the space, teach them how to be in their own space. They don't need to be entertained constantly, and get them used to nature. Get them used to be happy with just a little things. For instance, I don't know if you guys watched my live, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, that I went to San Diego and Ariel was also with me. And he's 7 months old. When I took him on the stroller, he took his nap, and after he woke up, he literally spent 2.5 to 3 hours playing with just a leaf. One piece of leaf. He was looking at it. He was touching it. He was examining it. He was putting it in his mouth. He was testing it out, right? So my point, if you give yourself too much toys, eventually what this is leading to is that they become unhappy. When you have too much things around you, too much noises, too many toys that are making noises, and they're doing this and they're doing this and that, in a way, you're starting up addiction. Eventually, what this leads to is many times I'm having private coaching sessions with parents, and they're saying, my 8-year-old or my 10-year-old boy or girl are addicted to games. They don't want to do anything else. They're not studying. They're spending hours and hours in front of their computer or whatever the kids are playing, and they get addicted to playing games. And that addiction is no different than addiction to somebody who's some grown-up parents. I just had a session with a mom yesterday. His 2.5 years old boy is constantly need a stimulant. Something has to be on. Something has to watch. And she also told me that his dad also has addictions to playing games, right? So this addiction is very hard to break. So I want you to embrace and teach your children to be in the moment fully. They already come with this program. To be present, to be okay, to be engaging with minimum. Take them to nature. Let them feel the grass. Let them hear the bird. Let them play with leaves. And this is, we see that, I told you guys, I used to live in Europe for about 5 or 5.5 years, right? And I always used to think, this was a question mark, how is it that European kids are so well behaved? You constantly see the parents on the weekends or afternoon, they taking them out to nature. Even at preschool, they take the kids outside. They let them play. I was talking to another mom. They let them play with muds. I was talking to Zore from Sweden, and she said that's what they do in Sweden. They take the kids to the nature. They let them. They have a day when they walk to the nature. The kids are picking up leaves, or they have days that they play in the mud and get themselves dirty. So that's what we need to do with this new generation in order not to destroy them. Okay? And for parents, you have to understand, especially mom, where are you with yourself? How calm and peaceful you are. Do you wake up each morning and the first thing that you do, you turn on the television, you turn on the radio, you are on your Instagram? We as parents have to be the role model for our children. And the way we do that is that we embrace the silent. When I'm washing dishes, I am just washing dishes. I'm fully present. I'm hearing the water. I'm feeling the texture and the smelling the soap. That's what I do. I'm fully present. When I'm cooking, I don't have the Instagram, or I don't have the television, or I don't have some noise going on. I'm fully present while I'm cooking. And each time as I'm cutting out the ingredient, whether it's onion or, I don't know, green onion or whatever it is, I am sensing it, I am smelling it. I am doing a prayer and I'm making that food with love. Have you guys ever experienced cooking and giving love? Or even better, as you're doing this, just try to silence your mind and just be fully present in this second as you're cooking the food. And then see when you're fully present while you're preparing a food or cooking something, cooking and giving love. Yes, exactly. It's like you're making love with your ingredient. You're making love while you're cooking that. Very good, Farishta John. You're fully present. That's fantastic. Okay? Yes. We want to be fully present. And then you'll be amazed when you're fully present and giving thanks for the ingredient or the food, how much better your food tastes. It's funny, but I know, like, sometimes I make salad, and one of the ingredients that I really love is olive oil, salt and pepper with pomegranate paste. And a lot of people say, oh my God, this tastes so amazing. And sometimes I have this friend of mine, she's really cute. She called me back and she says, are you sure that's all you put in there? I'm like, so how come it doesn't taste like mine? I keep making it. It's the state that I'm in when I'm making the salad, that I'm giving love, is the energy that I put into everything. That would be great. Try to do that, to be fully present at each moment. And I want to tell you guys this, I don't want to scare you, but yesterday on my session with this mom who was really struggling with his 2.5-year-old boy, she had to get her session at midnight, and I asked her why. Oh, because if my son is up, I'm not going to be able to do that. And why is that? This is because from the beginning, when your kid is just a few months old, you deprogram your children. You deprogram them by constantly that you're giving them this teaching that, first of all, they're teaching the program they're coming with, it's not correct and accurate and complete, and you constantly deprogram them by having too much stimulus as TV, radio, Instagram, too many toys, too many noises, too many things, and then you deprogram them in a wrong way by making them addicted to a stimulus that they have to be constantly busy. And this is the state that we are in. We get bored very quickly. We constantly need something to be happening outside, right? So remember, I'm inviting you guys all to come, Baba, baby boy, Ariel, to join me for that live. And remember that these children are coming with much more advanced DNA. You do not need to teach them anything. They are your guru. So please, I'm begging you right now, this is crucial, not to destroy the advanced, amazing program, but by our wrongdoing. Don't put your kids in front of television or this or that because you want to be left alone and you want to be doing your own thing. Teach the kids from the beginning how amazing silence is. Thank you very much, guys. I see you guys soon. And yes, we're going to be doing Farsi live first. And you guys can leave your comments. I'm going to spend a few more minutes to be here. So if you're a mom, tell me right now, do you agree or you don't agree? Or how successful have you been as a parent? And I want to know, are you guys aware that from the moment that the embryo is growing inside of you, are you aware that everything that you're thinking, that child is feeling inside of you? Everything that you're feeling, the child is also feeling. I don't have any baby, but absolutely agree. Thank you, Cathy John. Okay. So remember, from the time that you're holding this space in your belly, in your tummy, for a child to grow, whether it's 9 months or maybe it's 6 months or whatever it takes, what is your state during this time? What are you thinking? And I want to tell you guys, believe it or not, I have a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old in a session. They burst into tears telling me, oh, my parents didn't want me. Remember that. Remember, just because there's a little baby inside of you, it doesn't mean that that baby cannot hear you or feel you. So if it comes to the time that you guys get pregnant and you decide to keep the child, from that moment it is extremely crucial for you to become in peace and accept your choice. If you continue fighting with this, if you continue fighting that, oh, why did I get pregnant? This wasn't the right time, or this wasn't the right decision, or what is going to happen, and I'm worrying, or what about my job? How am I going to be taking care of these kids financially? If you're going through that process, remember that child is registering everything. So at this moment, you have to agree to the choice. You have to agree that at this moment and time, I have made this decision to become pregnant, to give birth. I always make sure to give them the feeling that they love, but I also made that mistake for letting them have games and screen time, and somehow it is out of control now. That's exactly my point, love. That's exactly my point. It's the exposure. I understand that. Now, what you should do at this moment, hon, is don't feel bad or guilty, because the feeling bad and the feeling that, oops, I made a mistake and I shouldn't have done that, that's again another negative energy that you're sending out, right? It's great that you're giving them love. It's crucial for children to grow up in love. But what you can do at this point, because remember, don't think that your kids are kids, because they're not. Right now, when I talk to Ariel, and he's 7 months old, he look at me, he listens to me and look at me so deeply. He doesn't lose eye contact. And I want to tell you, sometimes it's funny and I start laughing because it's like he's listening to me. I'm talking about metaphysics or something. He's listening to me and it just make me feel like he's the guru and he's listening to me and say, let me see if everything you're saying is correct and right. Because he already knows. Okay? So now, when your kids are too much, have been too much exposed, remember this is an addiction. And like any other addiction, why do we become addicted, whether it's alcohol or drugs or masturbating? Why do we become addicted? There is some emptiness, or there is something that is missing that I'm trying to make up for that emptiness or for that feeling. So, you need to sit down and talk to your kids very deeply. Don't come from a place of mom or dad. Do not try to lecture them because they're much more smarter and sharper. Come as a friend. Bring this to their attention. What is it that is missing from your life right now? And try to get the kids to be expressive, because our generation, my generation, not me, but the majority of people that I'm working with on my coaching sessions have not learned or allowed themselves to feel. Okay? So, basically, as a kid, if I'm feeling something a couple of times, and for the wrongdoing of the parents, the way they act, or whatever they say, they're kind of telling me, or that's how my mind translates what I'm hearing or the action, that it is not safe for me to feel. Then we shut down our emotional body not to get hurt. Remember, number 1 chakra, root chakra, safety, security. My mind is constantly checking out. Is it safe or unsafe? Is it safe or unsafe? So as a child, if 2 or 3 times I say something, oh, I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling this or that, and then the response is hard. You should be tougher. You should be harder. What are you saying that? You're such a, excuse my language, pussy. You shouldn't be feeling, or boys don't do that, or boys don't say. All I need is a couple of times to hear, or the reaction of my parents to make me wrong to feel, and then I totally shut down. This has happened to our generation. It is not safe for us to feel, so we shut down our feelings, right? Now, we don't want to do this to the new generation. So, as a parents, you become your friends' best friends. okay? And then you connect with them on a deeper level. What is it that's missing from your life? If things were different, what would you like to have? What do you desire? Don't talk to your kids as a kid. Talk to them as a grown-up and be fully present. But in order for you guys to be fully present, you have to practice that. This is a daily practice. And when you practice being fully present and you train your ears to hear. Remember, guys, in English we have two words, listening and hearing. Just before this live, I was talking to someone and constantly I had to repeat myself, you're not hearing me. Listening is you watch something and you're listening. Some noise is going on. It's the news. You're listening to that. But hearing, when I hear something, is much more different. I have to be empty. My mind has to be empty so I'm able and capable of hearing. And unfortunately, the majority of us are listening. Hearing is an art. Hearing happens when I'm so fully present and it's quiet up here. My mind is not calculating. My mind is not waiting for me to finish so it can come with its own point. That's the state I mean by hearing. That I'm shutting down my mind and brain and I'm fully present right here, right now, and then I'm able to hear what you're saying. And that hearing is not connected to the agenda that my mind and ego has. Remember, the ego always has an agenda. What's in it for me? What can I get from this? What am I going to get? Right? So as long as you and I are coming from mind, ego, we're constantly looking to see when is she or he is going to shut up so I can come with my point and I can get what I want. Right? In that state, you would never hear. You're listening, but you're not hearing. Okay? So when you want to deal with your children, who you have deprogrammed them, not in a perfect way, first of all, I don't go into guilt. Oh, I screwed up because that's the next, remember, this is the next tool that your ego takes. I have seen that so many times. Mothers in particular are great at going into this guilt feeling. Guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame. That's a huge program. So don't go into giving yourself the food that your ego is feeding you. Don't go into guilt. You don't have to accept that. I got it, Sarjan. Okay? So I don't want to go into guilty feeling, but I want to come to myself as aware as I am today. How could I transform this situation? Transformation doesn't happen from outside. Transformation happens from within. Okay? So first, before I want to fix something, I have to see, where am I coming from? You probably heard me over and over and over again. Don't get fooled by this movie that's playing out there. Things are happening within you. And there's nothing you can do out there that has a huge impact on what you want to do, right? So the transformation is happening within me. Now that I'm aware of this, I turn out the outer world and I tune in to my inner self. I practice being fully present in this moment. This morning, like I said, I had a session and I constantly was saying, you're not grounded. Then I have to ask, do you know what being grounded means? And she replied, yes, I do. Okay, so be grounded, because it's not about the decision that you have to make out there. It's not about, are you losing your job or not? At this moment, the most important thing is, where am I operating from? Then, when you go within, it's only then that you realize that you are the creator. You don't have to make a choice whether stick to this job that's making you unhappy, or should you quit this job. That's not the priority. That's not what's important, because you took yourself to that job that made you unhappy. The job doesn't make you happy or unhappy. It's you who is going there. Does it click, guys? Am I being clear? Give me a yes or no if you're hearing me. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not about outside. It's not about, do you continue working on this job or not? But if I'm fully and totally grounded, when I'm grounded, then whatever I decide, yes, exactly, hon. Yes, there we go. Okay, so when I'm grounded, I'm fully just picture this, guys. If you guys don't even know what being grounded means, I often say, imagine old trees, like you're rooting all the way deep inside the ground. You're big, you're huge, you're like thick. And as soon as you picture this tree that is so rooted deeply within the Mother Earth, within ground, you are grounded. Because in your mind eyes, you see yourself how stable you are. It doesn't matter how windy it is out there. It doesn't matter if there's a storm coming. You are so rooted deeply that nothing can shake you. Nothing can change you. That's being grounded. So when I'm coming from there, then I realize I am creating my reality with my mind, with my energy, with my vibration. Right? So does it matter at this point, if I continue to work or if I quit this job. That's the second step. Stick to the basic. That has been my teaching for the past 20 years. Stick to the basic. Don't let the basic bore you. And I also talked about that in my book, Awakening Not Allowed. Boredom comes from being fully in the ego. I don't get bored when I'm coming from the soul, but I get bored when I'm coming from the mind ego. It's the wrong programming that I constantly have to be entertained. Instagram, Telegram, TV, shows. And the more action, the more I like it. The more noise, the more I feel at home. That's coming from ego mind, right? So, what am I saying, guys? What I'm saying to you is, forget about the doing out there. The life that I'm going to be doing is about this. This baby, newborn babies are your gurus. They know how to play. Do not deprogram them. How many of you guys have to totally deprogram yourself and start new? Start new with what? To learn how to play. Do you guys know how to play? That's the teaching. Children, when they play, they are fully engaged and present in that moment. Yes. But if the kids is really engaged with one toys, and then you hand her the other toys, and then the other toys, and then the other toys, and then the other toys, this action would lead to dissatisfaction. So going back to my session yesterday with the mom who has issue with a 2.5-year-old boy, I said to her, I said, look, you need to work on your issues. It's not his issues, these are yours. If you're not letting your child to spend enough time with his father, that's your issue. I said, how many hours a week does this kid play with the dad? They go to nature, they go to the park. She said, not that often. I said, why? Oh, because I think maybe he be too hard on him, maybe he's too harsh, maybe he's a... And I said to her, which it was eye-opening to her, I said, do you know how many sessions, God knows how many private coaching sessions I had till now. I said, do you know how many sessions I have done with damaged guys and male who are missing the son and father's time? And that was eye-opening. She says, I never knew that. I said, yes. So many, your husband, the male, it doesn't matter if they're 50 years old, if they're 60 years old, that when their emotionally and mentally damaged, you always hear, watch the movies. When you watch movies, at some point, the character will bring it up. Oh, I grew up without a dad. I never met my dad. My dad left us when I was a kid. I wish I could spend some time with my dad. Right? So why am I bringing this up? It's for the mother who's cutting out the time, dad and a son, that boy, and how healthy that is for a boy to grow up, because she's not aware. Right? So what I'm trying to say right now, guys, is understand that you need to make or undo everything that you have done out there to bring it inside of you. It starts by mindfulness, to be fully present in this moment. And then when you start going to the next step, that you can really hear your children and your kids, then you can connect in a soul deep level with your children and help them to become expressive. I did a session with someone last week and I said, talk to your kid. Oh, she doesn't talk. I said, what do you mean? My kids, whatever I ask, how was your day? I'm trying to be engaging, but my kids is not connecting. I said, why is that? What do you think that is? Why isn't your kid connecting with you? Because for many, many, many years, what happens is when the children are younger, you're not around. You might be physically at home, washing dishes, and then your husband come at home and you're just complaining, oh my God, I've been cleaning, and then you're angry, not because of the housework. You're angry because you had pictured some totally different scenario, that you wanted to go to, you wanted to go to continue with higher education. You wanted to be your own boss. And you didn't do that. You have made a choice to become a mother. And this picture and the other pictures are so very different. You're angry about that, not the housework. But then your husband come home and you start nagging. Oh yeah, all my day. What do you think I did? Just washing dishes and cleaning up and blah, blah, blah. Right? And then you're not around when the kid is there. You have your television on, you're on your Instagram, there are some noise and activities going on, you're doing this thing. So when are you really present with your kid? When do you ever shut down everything and tell your kid, sit down eye to eye and say, I am here to hear you. I am here. You're being seen. I can see you. You're being heard. I can hear you. I told them, I said, that's the issue. You weren't around. Oh, but I'm a housewife. I was always home. I said, yes. Your physique was there. You physically were moving around, but you weren't available emotionally. That's the issue. I am so involved with my childhood still at age 50 and 60. I'm still so engaged in my trauma and my childhood and this and that and my hurt and how do I feel and how is this and that, right? you're not emotionally present. It's just the physic that's moving around, running errands, doing things. I think I got my point across, didn't I, guys? Okay, love you all. Enough of rambling. Join me in a few minutes. Farsi Live at when you and child play together without toys, you become the toy. Okay, Mary. This happens during social game like pig. Yeah, that's right. So basically what we want to do, and from the beginning of the live, was do not deprogram your children. Don't give them too much things. And like I said yesterday to this mother, I told her a few times that she has to cut out her own addictions. And then I could feel that is not registering. She wasn't able to hear me. So at the end, I said, I'm going to tell you that's going to click. That's going to shake you up. I said, you see your boy, 2.5, with this programming, he's going to be the kid who's at age 14 or 16. He's going to hang out with the bad boys on the street. He's going to get into drugs. He's going to start selling drugs. And then that got her. She says, oh my God, I never thought about that. I said, that's how I had to break it up to you for you to get it. So she said, what do I do now? Now I got her attention, because before I was just saying things, but she wasn't going to change anything. But once I scared her, I said, you see this boy, the way you're operating right now, that's the future. It's not a pretty future. So when she got shaken up by what I said, then she says, help me. I said, thank you. I've been trying to do that from the beginning. Now, your character has to totally break down with a new character, new programming, new blah, blah, blah. Then we can go from there. And in order for this character to break down, my last live, I talk about that. Ego, onion, layers has to be peeled off. Okay. Love and peace. Guys, don't forget 3 weeks challenge. You have to send us reports how you are doing. Are the tools that I'm giving you usable? Are you able and capable to use it? If you can use it, why not? What's the problem? Where are the obstacles? We need to get through this for the next 3 weeks. And then my book, Awakening Not Allowed, is one of the gifts that you guys can get. We also have 45 minutes private sessions with me. That's another gift that you guys are going to get. And then also, what else did we have, Sahar? We had one more. Oh, getting paid in cash. Okay? So get motivated, get on to work. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. See you guys soon. Bye-bye. Love and peace.